Hey Miami Lakers, we are coming to you live from Barbara Goldman High School. This is one of the meal distribution sites for our students in the town of Miami Lakes, where you can pick up breakfast and lunch every day here from 4 to 7 at Barbara Goldman Senior High School. So if you look right behind us, that is the area. You just pull up right in the rotunda here. You could pick up your kids. All you got to give them is the ID numbers for your kids' IDs here in the schools in Miami Lakes, and you could pick up breakfast and dinner here, and you can take it home. But Miami Lakers, I'm joined by our town manager. This morning, our town manager and I participated in a call with some White House officials. We were actually on the phone with Dr. Fauci and Larry Kudlow. So we got a direct update, and one of the main things they kept asking us for is to make sure that our local communities do our part. And that's as much as the federal level might talk about different mandates, the reality is it's us working together here on the local level to make sure that those things happen. So our manager has the thorough Miami Lakes update right now. We're also going to talk about, before we end the video today, before we go into the questions and answer session, about mortgages and rents. I've gotten a lot of calls about that. We'll make a mention of that because yesterday I got several phone calls about that. But I'm going to pass it over to our town manager, who has the daily Miami Lakes COVID-19 update.
Yeah, as some of you may have seen in the news, obviously the number of cases continuing to increase. The number of confirmed cases in the town of Miami Lakes from the state's latest report is 12. So there's only an increase, which is a good thing, only an increase of 1 from yesterday. So there's 12 confirmed cases in the town of Miami Lakes. And again, I know this question's been asked over and over again. The only information the state gives us is the number that are in the town. They don't tell us whether these are mild cases, severe cases, if they're elderly people, young people, if they're male or female, are they on the east side of town, west side of town. They don't give us any of that information, just that there are 12 confirmed cases for Miami Lakes residents. I wanted to talk a little bit about the governor issued an executive order earlier today. The governor, as you know, we reported here on the briefing a day or two ago, he had ordered a safer at home order for Palm Beach, Broward, Dade County, and Monroe County. What he did today was increase that order and did it statewide. There's a statewide safer at home order now for everybody. Obviously, we live in a society where everybody travels all over the place, so in order to capture more people and prevent as many cases as possible, the governor has issued this safer at home order throughout the entire state. Another thing that developed earlier today was Mayor Jimenez. Mayor Jimenez ordered the closure of adult daycares. So that's a change, and it's also targeted to one of our most vulnerable populations, which is our elderly. Several of the cities have followed suit to what we did. Last Thursday, we went to a virtual town hall, and we actually suspended the application for new building permits and inspections of building projects. That doesn't mean that you can't finish a project that you have underway. On our website, you have information about the things that you need to do to continue your project that are already underway. But several, Miami-Dade County closed their building department. Several other cities in Miami-Dade County have followed suit. So, in fact, even one of the largest home builders in South Florida has decided to shut down a couple of the construction projects that they have underway, and is making a plea to the construction industry in general to try and follow suit to see if we can help make a dent and turn the tide on this virus. Just as we reported yesterday, reminder that tomorrow we're conducting a special call meeting via Zoom. This is very important. The instructions are right on our homepage of our website, miamilakes-fl.gov. Right there's a banner that drops down. It'll take you right to the instruction page on how to participate in this Zoom virtual meeting. It's one of the first ones ever that's going to have that, which includes not only the elected officials and staff, but also participation from the public. So I just wanted to remind everybody that you are one of the best assets in trying to fight this disease. Hand washing. My wife, every time I walk through the door, she reminds me. I'm horrible at it. It's old habits trying to break, but we have to do it. My wife reminds me to wash my hands. Social distancing, if you notice, the mayor is further up, I'm further back. We're trying to still be in the picture, but we're maintaining social distancing. And important, very important, make sure that we do not congregate in large groups, because that's disastrous. That's where one person, and there's so many reports now that people are spreading this disease and they don't even demonstrate any kind of signs or symptoms. So you have to assume that everybody around you has the disease. And if you go under that assumption, we're going to defeat this bug.
Thank you, Mr. Manager, and I wanted to give a shout out to our Lieutenant Gonzalez, the traffic whisperer. He lent us the equipment. We're heading on up. We're improving our daily Facebook Lives. He lent us some equipment today where we can step it up when it comes to transmitting communications to you all. So we have that on a temporary basis. Really appreciate that. But again, we're at Barbara Goldman Senior High School, and you can see many cars going behind us. So if you're a Lakes resident, if you live anywhere in Northwest State and your kids go to a public school, simply with their ID, you can pull up here in the rotunda. You're going to get a breakfast, you're going to get a lunch, and you can head on home. They do this every day here at Barbara Goldman, 5 days a week, only Monday through Friday, from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. But one thing I really wanted to mention before we go into the question and answer section, I know a lot of folks, there's a lot of misinformation out there, a lot of things being said, but when it comes to your mortgage payments or your rent payments, especially your mortgage, call your lender. Make sure you call your mortgage servicer and you have that discussion with them before you believe. Some folks think that, hey, they're going to put this at the end of the mortgage payment or do different things. You know, make sure you get it right, because what you don't want to happen is that 3 months down the line, you get a bill for the last 3 months of mortgage payment and you guys get surprised by that. So make sure you make those phone calls yourselves directly to the folks that service your mortgages. When it comes to your rent, call your landlords. Have those discussions with your landlords. I know there's been a lot of talk here in the county when it comes to evictions or whatnot, but to be clear, have those discussions. There are different orders. The evictions, and Mr. Manager, correct me if I'm wrong, evictions are not being processed at this moment.
Yeah, countywide, they've suspended evictions.
So we want to make sure that everybody understands that, but make sure you have those conversations, be it with your mortgage servicer or your landlord. Have those talks today. But Miami Lakers, I know there's some questions out there. I know part of the discussion we had this morning that we heard from the White House directly was the partnerships on the local level. So thank you guys again for paying attention to what we're asking of you all, because it's a team effort. We're coming together as a community to make sure that we flatten the curve and we get past this together. So I'm going to start reading off some of the questions. If you do have questions, please start putting them in the comments section right now. I know a lot of times we finish our videos and I end up checking back in about 20 minutes and I see 40 new questions. So if you're online right now, make sure you get those things out there as soon as possible. So we're going to start reading off some of those questions. Now we have Jamie Sanchez. He's asking, are you accepting inspections?
What we are doing for building inspections, our inspectors are not going out to do inspections, but our building official has declared that he'll accept certifications. In other words, a professional in the business with a license will be able to conduct the inspection and certify that it was done according to code. If you have any questions regarding those inspections, you can email the building department, and the email goes to probably about 4 or 5 people, and you're going to get an answer probably in less than a few hours. So if you send the email to building department, all together, all spelled out, so it's building department at miamilakes-fl.gov.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Tim Morgan is asking, is there anything we can donate to assist first responders with PPE?
Thankfully, I believe that our first responders, in other words, here in the town, our police officers, their department is equipping them with all the necessary PPE, as well as the firefighters, their department is equipping them with all the PPE. What you should probably do, we don't have any major hospitals here in the town, but that's probably the place where they need it the most at this point. The PPE in the healthcare facilities is the place where they could probably use it the best. Thankfully, our first responders that are on the street every day, every night, helping our residents, right now, they're not suffering any shortages in PPE.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Tim, I hope that answered your question. Priscilla Chavez, are the courts open? She's stating that she had received a ticket before the coronavirus, and I think there were some upcoming dates in regards to her situation.
Yeah, obviously the clerks or the courts are a function of Miami-Dade County. They're not here in the town of Miami Lakes. But if you go to if you Google Clerk of County Courts Miami-Dade, you should be able to find their website, and I'm sure there's going to be information and updates on there about what to do with traffic tickets or anything of that nature, and any proceeding dealing with the courts.
So Miami Lakers, I really don't see any other questions. We'll wait another 30 seconds to give you guys an opportunity to ask those questions. But again, thank you guys for working with us. I just want to reiterate that from our city council to our staff, to everybody that has to do with it, our volunteers who are doing amazing things out on the field. We're here for you. We're going to get through this together. We're going to work to make sure that your interest is protected every single day in this community, and we're getting that information out. The commitment the manager has made is that 7 days a week, these live videos will be going straight to you all to make sure that information gets to you. I don't see any other questions. But if you do, wait a second, there is one very important thing that they made a commitment that I'll make sure that we get to. We need to do the Spanish portion of our update right now, Mr. Manager. Let's make sure we get to the audience and the folks at home that are watching that speak Spanish.
Sí, quiero empezar diciendo que ahora en la ciudad de Miami Lakes hay 12 casos confirmados positivos para el coronavirus. Una cosa que dije en inglés es que el estado de la Florida solamente nos dan el número, la cantidad de personas que están confirmadas en nuestra ciudad, pero no nos dan información sobre si son graves o son leves, si son hombre, mujer, joven o son una persona mayor. No nos dan ningún otro tipo de datos, solamente el número. No tengo información sobre eso. Quería avisarle que el gobernador hoy extendió una orden que había dado hace 2 o 3 días para Monroe, Dade County, Broward y Palm Beach, que es igual que la orden que nosotros dimos la semana pasada, que es para que la gente se mantenga en su casa y no salga. Ahora él extendió esa orden por el estado entero, que se llama Safer at Home. Esa orden ahora él la hizo para el estado entero. También quería avisarle que el alcalde Jiménez del condado hizo una orden de emergencia hoy cerrando los daycare para la persona mayor. Las personas ancianas que van durante el día a un lugar para que los cuiden, esos centros van a cerrar. También quería recordarle que mañana por la noche vamos a tener por primera vez la reunión del consejo de nosotros a través de este programa que se llama Zoom, Z-O-O-M. Es un programa para que nadie tenga que estar en el mismo salón juntos. Todo el mundo va a estar en su oficina o en su casa y vamos a hacer la reunión a través de ese programa. También va a incluir participación de nuestros residentes. Pueden participar, hacer declaraciones al principio de la reunión y eso no cambia. Quería avisarles que otra vez que ustedes son los que más pueden ayudar en este caso para combatir este virus. Manténganse en reuniones pequeñas, no se reúnan en grandes grupos. Manténganse de distancia de más de 6 pies y por favor, acuérdense de lavarse las manos constantemente.
Gracias, señor administrador. Y aquí, ciudadanos de Miami Lakes, hasta nosotros está el High School Barbara Goldman, que están aquí dando los desayunos y las meriendas para los estudiantes aquí en nuestra comunidad. Simple lo que tienen que hacer es tener la identificación de la escuela de tus hijos. Pasar por aquí y te dan la comida, el desayuno y la merienda. So we'll go back to answer some questions. I do see there's some other folks that are chiming in and have some questions. Eddie Del Campo is asking, how is this affecting the city's budget?
Well, right now, thankfully, it's not affecting our budget. The way our budget is built, the revenue streams are from taxes. The taxes are collected early on in the fiscal year. Our fiscal year starts in October. So for this fiscal year, thankfully, we're not going to be impacted by any changes in revenue streams. For the next fiscal year, during the summer is when we go through the process of building our budget for the following fiscal year. We're going to see if there's any downturns in the economy, see how it impacts the tax base, the property values. So we'll know more as the beginning of the summer starts and we work our way through the budget preparation season.
Eddie, I hope that answered your question. Let us know if there's anything else you need from us. Rudy Castañeda has two questions asking, can you expand what the governor's safer at home order means to Miami Lakes, and can he continue to walk his dog in his neighborhood?
Yeah, the essential services don't change. So what the order states is that everybody should stay at home unless it's you're out for an essential purpose. Those essential purposes, there's a laundry list of them, but mostly it's for the necessities of life. Going out to get food, taking care of an elderly family member, those kind of things. Those are the only gasoline, those kind of things are the only things that you should be out on the street during this time.
Rudy, I hope that answered your question. I think there's one more. Dante, he's asking a question in Spanish, and Mr. Manager, if you want to translate that into English too. La orden de estar dentro de la casa está muy bien, pero los de negocios esenciales. ¿Qué son realistas los negocios esenciales? Comprar carros es esencial.
Bueno, es una declaración que dio el gobernador y el alcalde del condado, que ellos determinaron que los negocios de la venta de carros son esenciales, porque si en algún momento vamos a ir a alguien que tiene, como dicen nosotros los cubanos, un cacharro y se le rompe y ya no tiene arreglo, esa persona tiene que tener dónde ir a comprar un carro para después poder salir, buscar su comida. Esa es la liga que ellos hacen. So the question was about, I think specifically about car sales, automobile sales, and why is that considered an essential service? And I believe the logic there is that if somebody has a vehicle that is on its last legs, it breaks down, it's not worth or capable of being repaired, that we still have to have the ability for people to go out and buy new used vehicles, and be able to have a working vehicle so they can go out and secure their essential items like food, etc.
Well, I hope that answered everybody's question. I don't see any of the questions, but if you do, you can ask them tomorrow. Just know that this Facebook Live will be happening every day. It'll be shared on our Instagram, on our Twitter, on our LinkedIn, and on our YouTube to make sure that we get out as much as possible. So reach out to us. Know that from your council, your staff, administration, and volunteers are doing an amazing job representing your interests. But reach out.